Hi everybody, AstroTarotJohn here, and this is your daily tarot card draw for Sunday, January 11th, and I've pulled out all the stops for this one. This is the Stranger Things tarot deck, and I've drawn the Emperor. This is Sheriff Hopper on it, and we're going to talk about the Emperor today. The Emperor, of course, represents authority figures. So the Emperor represents anybody who has a leadership role, anyone who is in command, has authority, represents the man, if you will, or establishment, anybody who is in a position of strength. The Emperor also represents anyone who has structure, creates order out of chaos, anyone who is organized and applies reason to things. The Emperor is also a really good coordinator. Of course, the Emperor also is the father, or one of the arguments you could make for being the father in the tarot. And then the Emperor is also a regulator, someone who makes policy and applies sound principles. The Emperor is someone who we expect is going to be an authority figure when he appears in the tarot. And as he's a major arcana he's very important to us. So what can we talk about when it comes to having the Emperor card right now? Well, we have a lot of Capricorn planets in the sky right now, which definitely gives us an Emperor kind of flavor. So what pieces of advice do I have for you when drawing this card? Well, folks, it's 2026. It's still early in the year. It's time to get organized. The Emperor is great at providing structure, and it's great at providing the details on how to get life organized. So I know it's early 2026, but a lot of people are already thinking about, for example, taxes and budgets. So start thinking about things in 2026 that you need to get organized already. Time does tend to get away from us, so it's important for us to start thinking about getting details in order that we know we're going to need in the next couple of months. Getting registered for different things like children's sports, for example, asking for time off at work if we know we're going to need certain dates off for family reunions or weddings or anything like that. I have a family wedding coming up that I know I have to consider even in the next 6 weeks. So it's going to be important for everyone to start getting organized. Another area that we can look at is about authority. If you are in any kind of position of authority, especially if in the workplace, if you have authority in your title, make sure that you're exercising that authority. A lot of times when we take on an authority role, that title is supposed to mean something. So my question to you, if you have a title, is, does that title actually mean anything? Are you really pushing that responsibility to the limit? I know in many cases, if you are a leader, you are sandwiched between other leaders. This may be a good time to have a conversation with the leaders above you and in some cases below you to find out how everyone is doing and how you can make the most of your leadership role, and also how you can be more of a servant leader. How are you serving the leaders above you, and how are you helping those below you grow, and how are you mentoring them? How are you serving them? So this would be a great time of the year to have those leadership conversations. The third is by looking at the principles, the main principles that guide your life right now. Are you acting in accordance with those main principles? A lot of people will say to me things like, well, John, in theory, I'd like to insert thing here, but the in theory never seems to happen. So my question to you is, well, why? What are those guiding principles that you have? And if so, why do they not make it from principle to actual practice? Why doesn't the reality reflect what your principles are? And folks, that's not a criticism, it's just a question for you to consider. There are plenty of circumstances that happen in our lives that make it so that for one reason or another, we can't always implement the principles and ideas that we have, especially in an ideal world, which of course there's never an ideal world, right? But we do have to think about from time to time if the principles we have are really being shown in our day-to-day lives and in the decisions we make. And so with the Emperor coming out, this would be a great time to do that. In any case, I hope you are going to be watching Netflix. I hope you're watching or have watched the final season of Stranger Things, if you're a fan. I'm not giving away any spoilers here. I haven't watched it, and I wouldn't give you any spoilers if I could. But in any case, my name is AstroTarotJohn. Thank you so much again for watching. I look forward to seeing you across my table, whether virtually or in person, very soon.